This old Mac desktop is an Xbox 360. Or at least that's what Microsoft used it for. Back in 2003, Microsoft took delivery of a ton of Power Mac G5s from Apple. And I never realized this in the picture, but it looks like some of them fell. And in terms of specs, it was actually pretty similar to what I have here with a dual 2 GHz processor system, the G5 processors, and a Radeon 9800. But then the obvious question is, why did Microsoft use Power Mac G5s as early development platforms for the 360? Like, they have nothing in common, right? And the reason why Microsoft bought these Power Mac G5s was to create the Xenon Developer Kit, also known as the earliest Xbox 360 developer kit. It ran what was called the Xenon Launcher, which was basically the developer platform for the Xbox 360 on these devices. And during E3 2005, Microsoft actually had a media station for people to try out the new Xbox 360, but all the demos were running on Power Mac G5 towers. Well, here's the thing. The PowerPC G5 chip, which was actually developed by IBM, was architecturally similar to the also developed by IBM Xenon processor that would eventually find its way into the Xbox 360. And because that Xenon processor was so early in development, Microsoft didn't have a widely available swath of them to put into developer kits to send out to developers, especially internal developers who needed to start working on games for launch as soon as possible. So they went with Power Mac G5s. However, once Microsoft was able to put the Xenon processor into what was close to final hardware, you started seeing developer consoles like this, where it kind of looked like final hardware, but it had this big piece on top, which was basically a connector for the developer tools. But the part of this story that I find the craziest is not that Microsoft was using Apple computers to develop for their game console, but it was the fact that once they were done and they had developer kits that looked like final hardware, they wiped these Macs and sold them to their full-time employees for $300. For reference, a dual processor 2 GHz PowerPC G5 back then was $2,500 new. So my best guess is that Microsoft was selling these things so low so that they could write off the sales in their taxes. Unfortunately though, like any early developer platform, it is very hard to find these things in working condition, let alone good shape. This is an example of one that somebody found on Reddit, and yeah, just by the top case, it's seen better days. Granted, the Power Mac that was in this video earlier was in worse shape when I found it, so I mean, nothing's impossible. So yeah, in a weird way, Apple actually helped in the development of the Xbox 360. So if you love the Xbox 360 and you hate Apple, just remember,